You know what, sister? I see you. I see the exhaustion in your eyes. I see the battle you're fighting, the one no one else can see, the one inside your own mind. And I need you to hear me loud and clear. You are not crazy. You are not weak. You are not broken. You are not broken, but you are under attack. That voice in your head, the one that whispers, you're not good enough. You're too much. You'll never be loved. That's not you. That's the enemy. That's the past trying to chain you down. That's fear, insecurity, and every painful experience you've ever had masquerading as truth. And here's the brutal reality. You've been arguing with it. You've been negotiating with your own pain, explaining yourself to your own self doubt, trying to convince the darkness inside you that you are worthy. Stop. You don't argue with demons. You don't reason with fear. You don't sit at the table with your own destruction and ask it to be gentle. You rise. You stand up. You take a deep breath. And you choose to fight back, not with words, not with arguments, but with action. Because the only way to silence the voices that tell you you're not enough is to prove them wrong. It starts today. It starts right now. That negative, self doubting voice in your head, the one that tells you you're not good enough, you're not smart enough, you're not pretty enough, you're not worthy of love, success, or happiness, that voice is not you. It feels like you because it lives inside your head, but it's not your truth. That voice is a collection of every doubt, every criticism, and every painful experience you've ever had. It's the echoes of things people have said to you. Maybe an offhand comment from a teacher when you were little, maybe a harsh word from a parent, maybe the rejection of someone you loved. Over time, those words became seeds planted in your mind. And if you weren't careful, they grew roots. And here's where things get dangerous. If you don't recognize that voice for what it is, you start believing it. You start mistaking it for your own thoughts. You think, this is just how I am. I've always been insecure. I've always struggled with confidence. I've never felt good enough, but that's not you. That's a program running in your mind that someone else wrote.
So, how do you fight back?
How do you take control when it feels like that voice has been with you for as long as you can remember? The first step is awareness. You have to catch that voice in action. The next time you hear it whispering doubt, stop and ask yourself, whose voice is this? Where did I first hear this? Where did I first hear this? Because if you trace it back, you'll start to see that it's not actually your own. It came from somewhere. It was planted. And once you see that, you can begin to uproot it. Now, this part is important. Just because a thought enters your mind doesn't mean you have to accept it as truth. You are not your thoughts. Your mind is like a radio station, constantly broadcasting signals, and some of those signals are pure static, old fears, past traumas, society's expectations, things people said in moments of anger or ignorance. If you don't control the dial, you'll get stuck listening to a station that plays nothing but negativity on repeat. But you can change the channel. You can choose what you allow yourself to believe. Every time that voice tells you, you're not good enough, I want you to challenge it. I want you to respond, says who. Every time it tells you you'll never succeed, I want you to ask, is that a fact or just a fear? Every time it tells you you don't deserve happiness, I want you to say, I decide what I deserve. And then, most importantly, I want you to take action. Because you don't just defeat self doubt with words, you defeat it by proving it wrong. If the voice says you're not smart enough, go learn something new. If it says you're not strong enough, go do something that challenges you. If it says you're not worthy, take a deep breath, stand tall, and remind yourself, I am here, I am breathing, and I am worthy just as I am. The truth is, you are so much more powerful than that voice in your head. But you have to start recognizing it for what it is, a liar, a bully, a ghost of the past trying to hold you back. And the moment you stop believing it, the moment you decide enough is enough, that's the moment you take your power back. Because here's the thing, you are not your doubts. You are not your fears. You are not the negative voice in your head. You are you. And that is more than enough. The moment self doubt creeps in, the moment that voice in your head starts whispering negativity, you have to act immediately. You cannot let it take hold. You cannot entertain it. Because the second you start engaging with it, you give it power, you let it grow. And before you know it, that one small thought, I'm not good enough, turns into an entire downward spiral of negativity that can ruin your mood, your confidence, and even your entire day. This is what happens when you don't interrupt the pattern. Think about it like this. Imagine you're standing in your kitchen and suddenly smoke starts pouring out of the toaster. You wouldn't just stand there and watch it, right? You wouldn't analyze the smoke, wonder where it came from, or try to reason with it. No, you would act. You'd unplug the toaster, open the window, wave a towel, do whatever it takes to clear the smoke before it turns into a full blown fire. That's exactly how you need to treat negative thoughts. The moment they appear, interrupt them. Don't let them sit. Don't let them build. Don't let them turn into a fire you can't control. So, how do you do this? How do you stop a thought from spiraling? First, you need a trigger, a word, a phrase, or an action that instantly breaks the loop. Some people say stop out loud. Others snap a rubber band on their wrist. Some people take a deep breath and physically move their body. Stand up, stretch, clap their hands, shake it off. The key is to do something to break the cycle. Because if you don't, your brain will take you down a familiar road, and that road leads straight to self-doubt, overthinking, and feeling stuck. Let's say you're about to walk into an important meeting, and suddenly your mind starts flooding with fear.
What if I mess up? What if I sound stupid?
What if they don't take me seriously? The old you might have let those thoughts keep going. You might have let them build, let them steal your confidence, but not anymore. Now, you recognize the pattern. You see what's happening. So instead of letting the fear take over, you interrupt it in. You say stop. You take a deep breath. You roll your shoulders back. You shift your focus to something else. You remind yourself, I am prepared. I am capable. I belong here, because here's the truth. Your mind loves patterns. It follows the same loops over and over again simply because it's used to them. If you've spent years doubting yourself, then self-doubt has become your brain's default setting. It doesn't mean it's true. It just means it's a habit. And habits can be broken. Fool it. Every time you interrupt a negative thought, you weaken its power. You teach your brain that this is not the path we take anymore. You start creating a new pattern, one that leads to strength, confidence, and action instead of fear and hesitation. It won't happen overnight. At first, you might have to interrupt negative thoughts 100 times a day. But over time, it gets easier. You start catching them faster. You start replacing them with better thoughts. And before you know it, that old pattern of doubt starts to fade, because you are not your thoughts. And you are definitely not your fears. But if you don't take control, if you don't interrupt the pattern, those thoughts will control you. So the next time your mind tries to pull you into a spiral of doubt, stop it in its tracks. Move, speak, shift, do whatever it takes to break the cycle. Because the moment you do, you take your power back. Confidence isn't something you're born with. It's something you build. And the only way to build it is through action. You cannot think your way into confidence. You cannot sit there overanalyzing every possibility, waiting for the perfect moment, hoping that one day you'll finally feel ready. That day will never come. Because confidence doesn't come from waiting. It doesn't come from wishing. It comes from doing. It comes from doing. And here's the truth. The only way to silence fear is to prove it wrong. Fear is a liar. It tells you that you're not capable, that you'll fail, that people will judge you. But the moment you take action, no matter how small, you start collecting proof that fear is wrong. You start showing yourself that you can do hard things, that you can handle uncertainty, that you are stronger than you think. Think about the last time you were terrified to do something, but did it anyway. Maybe it was speaking up in a meeting, starting a new job, introducing yourself to someone new, or posting something vulnerable online. Leading up to that moment, your mind probably filled with doubts. What if I say the wrong thing? What if I embarrass myself? What if they reject me? But then you did it, and guess what? You survived. Maybe it wasn't perfect. Maybe it was messy, but you did it. And after it was over, you felt relief, maybe even a little pride. That's the feeling of confidence being built in real time. But here's where most people get stuck. They wait for confidence first before taking action. They think, I'll apply for that job when I feel confident enough. I'll start my business when I'm more prepared. I'll put myself out there when I'm ready. But that's backward. Confidence doesn't come before action. It comes because of action. If you wait until you feel ready, you'll be waiting forever. If you wait until you're not scared, you'll never move. The fear doesn't disappear first. You have to act in spite of it. And then once you've taken that step, the fear starts to shrink. So here's your challenge. Take one bold action today, not tomorrow, not next week, today. And it doesn't have to be massive. It just has to be something. Send the email, make the phone call. Say yes to the opportunity. Speak up in the meeting. Post the thing you've been holding back. Take the first step toward whatever it is you've been avoiding. Because the moment you take action, you break the cycle of fear. You start gathering evidence that you are capable, that you do have what it takes, that the fear in your head is so much bigger than reality. And every single time you do this, you get stronger. Every single time you act in the face of fear, you build trust with yourself. You start realizing, I can handle this. I've done it before. I can do it again. And that is how confidence is built. Not through waiting, not through thinking, but through doing. So stop overanalyzing. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop letting fear keep you stuck. Take one bold action today, even if it scares you, especially if it scares you, because that's the only way you grow. You become what you consume, period. If you constantly surround yourself with negativity, negative people, negative news, negative self-talk, you will feel negative. It will drain your energy, cloud your mind, and make everything in your life feel heavier. But the opposite is also true. When you surround yourself with strength, with positivity, with people who lift you up instead of tearing you down, everything starts to shift. You start seeing possibilities instead of limitations. You start believing in yourself instead of doubting yourself. The problem is, most of us don't even realize how much negativity we're absorbing every single day. Think about the conversations you have. Are the people around you constantly complaining? Do they always focus on what's wrong instead of what's possible? Do they mock your ambitions, discourage your ideas, or make you feel like you're too much for wanting more? Now, think about the content you consume. Are you scrolling through social media, comparing yourself to people who seem to have perfect lives? Are you watching the news and feeling more hopeless every day? Are you filling your mind with stories of failure, disappointment, and limitation? Because here's the truth. If you let negativity in, it will take root. It will shape the way you see yourself in the world, but you don't have to let it. You can take control. You can choose what you allow into your life. And the first step is making a decision. You will only surround yourself with strength. So how do you do that? First, take a hard look at your inner circle. Who are the people closest to you? Are they lifting you up or pulling you down? Are they pushing you to be better or keeping you stuck? If someone in your life is constantly draining you, it's time to set boundaries. That doesn't mean cutting people off completely, but it does mean protecting your energy. You don't have to engage in every negative conversation. You don't have to be available for everyone all the time. You can choose who has access to your mind and heart. Next, clean up your environment. That means your social media, the books you read, the podcasts you listen to, the shows you watch. Unfollow accounts that make you feel bad about yourself. Stop watching things that fill you with fear and doubt. Shakur. Replace them with content that inspires you, that educates you, that fuels your growth, and most importantly, find your people. Seek out women who are ambitious, strong, and positive, women who challenge you to be better, women who don't just listen to your dreams, but push you to make them a reality. If you don't have those people in your life right now, go find them. Join communities, attend events, engage in spaces where people are actively growing. And until you find them, be your own biggest source of strength. Speak life into yourself. Encourage yourself. Encourage yourself. Be the voice you wish you had when you were struggling. Because here's the thing. You don't have time for negativity. You don't have time for people who make you doubt yourself. You don't have time to absorb energy that keeps you small. You are here to rise. You are here to rise. You are here to grow. And the only way to do that is to surround yourself with people, content, and environments that fuel your strength, not drain it. So starting today, make a choice. Protect your energy. Be intentional about what you consume. And most importantly, surround yourself with strength, because that is how you become unshakable. You are not here to be small. You are not here to shrink yourself to make others comfortable. You are not here to live a life filled with hesitation, fear, or regret. You are here to rise. You are here to step into your power, to own your voice, and to create a life that excites you. But here's the thing. No one is going to hand you your power. No one is going to wake you up one morning and say, hey, today's the day you finally believe in yourself. That moment won't just magically happen. You have to choose it. You have to claim it. And claiming your power starts with the way you see yourself. Right now, there's a version of you, a strong, confident, unstoppable version. who is waiting for you to step up. She already exists. She is not something you have to create. She is already inside you. But she can only come alive when you stop holding yourself back, when you stop asking for permission, when you stop waiting for someone to tell you, yes, you are enough, because you already are. You always have been. So why do you hesitate? Why do you doubt? Because the world has taught you to. Society has conditioned women to play small, to be quiet, to wait their turn, to wait their. Maybe you grew up in an environment where women were expected to be nice instead of bold, to be pleasing instead of powerful. Maybe somewhere along the way, you started believing that confidence was for other people, stronger people, louder people, people who had something you didn't. But that's a lie. Confidence isn't about being the loudest person in the room. Power isn't about being perfect. Owning your voice isn't about having all the answers. It's about believing deep in your soul that you are worthy, that you belong, that you have every right to take up space, to pursue your dreams, to demand more from life. So starting today, I want you to make a decision. You will own your power, and that starts with your mindset. The way you talk to yourself matters. The way you carry yourself matters. The way you carry yourself matters. The way you show up for your life matters. Every time you hear that little voice telling you, you're not ready, you're not good enough, you're not qualified, I want you to challenge it. I want you to push back and say, actually, I am ready. I am good enough. I am more than qualified. Because confidence is not about feeling ready. It's about deciding you are. Then I want you to take action. Because power isn't just a mindset. It's a practice. It's the way you move through the world. It's the choices you make every single day. Speak up when you feel like staying silent. Stand tall when you feel like shrinking. Take the opportunity, even if it scares you. And most importantly, stop apologizing for taking up space. Stop watering yourself down to make others comfortable. Stop waiting for someone else to give you permission to be great. No one is coming to save you. No one is coming to hand you confidence on a silver platter. You have to go out there and own it. Because here's the truth. The world needs you, the full, unapologetic, powerful version of you, not the version that's afraid to speak, not the version that plays it safe, not the version that hides. So today, right now, make a promise to yourself. You will show up. You will take action. You will own your power because it has been yours all along.